Welcome back, guys. We got a wonderful guest today. We have Jake Akers of Homeworks, and he's going to explain to us what he's doing. It's very exciting.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Yeah, we so back when the pandemic kind of hit, it essentially changed real estate, or changed everything to a certain extent. And so at the time we were kind of looking at, all right, what shifts are we seeing in the market? Where are things headed? And one of the major trends was the shift to remote work. So with everybody either working from home or just virtually or a hybrid model, there's was just a major switch to what people needed when it came to working and living, so to speak. And it really kind of opened up a lot of different types of business models that could kind of thrive. And so we wanted to really capture that and also provide for that niche. I think right now it's like somewhere around 50% of roles now are shifting to either a hybrid or a remote work business model, and including what we were doing. We used to rent out space at WeWork at the co-working office space. And so we thought, hey, we don't need to have this fixed cost anymore for our office space. Let's switch it to a hybrid model and just kind of work remotely. We've been able to keep the same type of productivity, and so that's kind of what led to the shift in our strategy. We went from buying multifamily properties to repositioning some of these properties into kind of a hospitality type of model. And so what we've been doing is repurposing part of the space into a co-working office space. So it's essentially kind of like Airbnb meets WeWork. So it's a short to mid-term rental with a co-working office space that they can kind of collaborate and utilize as they're traveling or working remotely, or digital nomads, or whichever demographic they fit into.
Which markets seem to work best for that? I'm assuming that's not all markets. Is that certain cities or certain regions that you guys are excited about for co-working?
So there's definitely different approaches to that. I would say one is going to be areas where there's just a an annual draw. So places like San Diego, which is where we started, or Cabo, which is where we're doing a syndication at right now. So kind of coastal areas where year round, especially people in the colder climates, where they're going to want to travel to for a few weeks and work remotely from those locations and be able to kind of get out and enjoy the weather and enjoy those cities. Other areas I think are going to be near tech, kind of tech hubs, like a Austin, for example, where people are traveling into those cities to, whether it be for conferences or just different type of work related events, where they don't live in those areas, but they need to travel to those areas for work, and would like to have some type of working space at the residences that they're staying at. Another or other areas that we're looking at are places where Airbnb and just short-term rentals are being cracked down on when it comes to the regulation. And the reason being is because the types of properties that we're purchasing don't fall under the umbrella of the regulations. So we buy single room occupancy type properties. So they're already designated to be able to have those types of rentals. So the last property we purchased was a boarding house, for example. So it was formerly used for low income males who were needed to be in a restricted budget type of rental situation. So it was already being rented out, single room occupancy. And because a lot of these short-term rental regulations, they're mainly cracking down on single family residences, trying to, kind of help with the housing crisis. But these types of properties that we're buying, they're not really affecting those single family that type of demographic of people who are trying to buy a single family house.
Oh, okay, so that's great. So you're helping provide a niche demand, not making the housing situation worse. That's good to hear. And I'll ask.
Exactly. Yeah, we're not taking away from what a family is looking to buy. We're buying these larger properties and creating rental opportunities for people who need them.
Okay. A lot of investors are, scared right now of a looming recession and layoffs. I'm thinking, I know where you're going to go with it, but how would you say that your position in terms of, God forbid, there's a serious recession, economic decline in the United States?
Yeah, I mean, when there's a recession, a lot of people hold off on buying houses, and so when people aren't buying houses, they're renting. So that always bodes well for multifamily specifically. But I think for the niche that we're in with, because we're kind of in a multifamily hospitality type of, I guess more so hospitality, but people, there's a lot of people that are shifting to not even having long-term leases now, like the
Hmm.
the digital nomad demographic, where they're just going and working from one area for a couple months and then moving somewhere else and living there for a few months because they have that flexibility. So I think those two factors have kind of helped us thrive in this type of market. Um, yeah, when it comes to rental type units, even in down markets, they typically do pretty well for the most part. So I definitely see us not being recession proof by any means, but at least having some type of resistance to a looming recession.
I mean, I would see that as more companies are downsizing, like you said, their real estate footprint, and there's some pretty high profile, companies that are thinning out their employment ranks. There's going to be a big rise in consultants and people that want to work from home. And I think you're going to be in a very good position to weather a recession. I think anything corporations can do right now to reduce their physical footprint is really going to play well for you. Is there anything else you'd like to tell investors, especially some of the older guys like me that are still kind of late adopters or kind of holding out on everybody coming back to the office? Some metrics or perhaps just some anecdotes that so people want to understand better about this emerging trend that you're seeing.
Yeah, well, I think one demographic that we weren't really banking on when it came to the types of people that were gravitating to these types of rentals is corporate. Honestly, we've had a lot of entire place requests for companies that want to rent out our entire building to do a company offsite.
Oh,
Now that a lot of these companies are shifting to the remote work model, they still want to create some type of FaceTime and some type of team building experience for their crew. And so a lot of companies are doing either monthly or quarterly uh, offsites, company offsites, basically, where they're trying to get everybody together. And so these types of properties have definitely spiked when it comes to interest from large groups where they can have everybody staying in the same location, still have the privacy of having their own rooms, own bathrooms, but having the community aspect of the co-living spaces and the co-working spaces. So that's been a big shift that we weren't really anticipating. We were mainly thinking, okay, it'll be good for digital nomads, remote workers, just traveling nurses, people like that who are kind of always on the go and want to have some co-working space. We weren't really banking on the major shift to of corporate to looking for these off-site type of properties and type of locations. Um, and I'd say just I guess another factor when it comes to the shift is companies are really seeing productivity staying high, even though people are able to work from home. And so they're realizing, hey, we don't need to incur these expensive high fixed costs. And I think we're going to continue to see more and more companies shifting to that model, whether it be completely remote or whether it be a hybrid model. Um, it's just I think it's here to stay. I don't see There's definitely some companies that are going back to getting people in office, but I think for the most part, a lot of these corporations are saying, "Hey, we can still thrive with people working remotely, giving them more freedom and flexibility." And a lot of them are really competing to create that work life balance to be able to retain sharp talent. And so I think we're just going to continue to see more and more of this as the months and years progress.
That's really great. Is there anything else that I missed, in interviewing you, Jake, that you'd want any potential investors to know about you guys?
Yeah, we're always excited to bring in new investors that want to invest passively and kind of get involved in this new emerging niche and this new asset class. That's essentially how I shifted into the space as well. I came from single family residential flips, and so I knew I wanted to get into more multifamily and hospitality and commercial overall. And that stepping stone that I took was investing passively into syndications and becoming a limited partner just to be able to kind of learn while you earn type of scenario. So be able to see behind the curtain, so to speak, and learn about how these larger purchases work because it is a leap going from single family into commercial or just coming from any other industries into commercial. And so starting off as a limited partner can help people if they do eventually want to be a general partner or get more involved in these types of purchases down the road.
That's wonderful advice. That really is. That's something echoes what a lot of my guests have said, or myself has said. So thank you for that, Jake. Really important for any investors out there, or any potential JV partners, or anybody that wants to get a hold of you and learn a little more into the details of what you do. What's the best way to reach you, Jake? That's the important part. We don't want to miss that today.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, our company is called Homework, without the E, HOMWORK. So you can find us at homework.com. My email is jake@homework.com. And I'm also available by my cell phone, 757-696-1655.
Wonderful, Jake. I really appreciate you coming on to the CRE Spotlight. We'll check in with you in a little bit and see how things are going. Maybe have you back on. Really excited about the niche you're doing. It's great having you on today, buddy.
Sounds good. I appreciate being here.